Smith to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Would you please place the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Grosshands, and thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Florida Families First Back to School Resource Fair. It is a pleasure to serve as your MC today. And I want to thank Senator Ashley Moody for organizing today's event and bringing us together with one goal in mind: connecting Florida families with practical information and resources. Senator Moody understands that parents do not need government making every decision for them. They need leaders who listen, protect their rights, expand their opportunities, and make it easier to find the resources they need to make the best decisions for their children. As a mother myself, I'm grateful Florida families have a fighter who understands both the responsibility of public service, the weight also of raising a child. We were fortunate to have Ashley Moody fighting for Florida's families as our Attorney General, and we are fortunate to have her carrying that fight in Washington today. And she has brought together this incredible group of experts today to put some of that help directly into your hands. We have a great lineup of speakers for you today. When it comes to education, Florida parents have choices, and sometimes the hardest part is knowing exactly what they are. Senior Chancellor Paul Burns from the Florida Department of Education and Jonathan Cajigas from Step Up for Students are both here to help you navigate those options and discover opportunities you may not even know are available. When it comes to keeping your kids safe online, the threats are changing almost as fast as the technology. The Orange County Sheriff's Office Internet Crimes Against Children Unit is here to tell us what parents need to know, what the warning signs are to watch for, and where to turn when something doesn't seem right. Shannon Peterson from BNY is also here to help us make sense of saving, planning for the future, and how even small financial decisions today can add up to bigger opportunities for your children tomorrow. And then we get to the part that I suspect everybody has been waiting for, the food. Chef Justin from Fresh from Florida is going to show us that feeding our families well doesn't have to be complicated, expensive, or boring. He's bringing it fresh Florida ingredients, some great ideas, and I have it on good authority, samples. So nobody leave early today. We have a great afternoon ahead of us, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first speaker is Dr. Paul Burns, Florida's Interim Commissioner of Education and longtime leader in making our state a national model for educational opportunity. Senator Moody has taken that same fight to Washington, helping deliver the largest federal expansion of school choice in history because she believes that a child's needs, not their zip code, should determine their educational opportunities. Please welcome Dr. Paul Burns.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I will tell you I'm Paul Burns, and I will tell you my title is Senior Chancellor at the Florida Department of Education. I had the pleasure of serving as the Interim Commissioner of Education for the month of July, and now I am proud that we're able to announce and welcome that we have a new Commissioner of Education, Commissioner Henry Mack. I can tell you that he's hit the ground running, and it's an exciting time for us at the department. And so we're thrilled from the department to be with you all here today and to join Florida Families First Back to School Family Resource Fair. This is such a great opportunity for us to be here. And I would also like to thank Senator Moody and her office for bringing families together, bringing educators, and really bringing community partners together as we begin another exciting school year. As a former teacher and principal myself, I can tell you that anytime we're able to welcome our children back into our schools, it's a great moment for our communities. I also want to take a moment and recognize the schools and the nonprofit organizations, the healthcare providers, youth programs, the government agencies, and the community partners who are represented here today. Events like this really demonstrate that what we can accomplish when we work together around a shared priority, and that's helping Florida's children and helping Florida families thrive. As families across the state head back to school, this is really a tremendous opportunity and it's tremendous excitement of what lies ahead for Florida's students. Let me be clear as we kick off our program today, Florida continues to lead the nation in education. Under Governor DeSantis' leadership, Florida is and remains the education state, and we continue to lead the nation in education across virtually every measure for education. Florida is #1 in education freedom by the Heritage Foundation for 4 consecutive years. #1 on the Parent Power Index by the Center for Education Reform for 4 years in a row. #1 on the ALEC Index of State Education Freedom, and we're the only state to receive an A+ rating this year. We're #1 on Lightcast's 2025 Talent Attraction Scorecard for 3 consecutive years. We're #1 in higher education by U.S. News and World Report since the inception of the rankings in 2017. And we're also #1 in workforce education. Florida has truly established itself as a national leader in education because we remain focused on one simple but important principle, and that's our students. And we always put our students first here in Florida. We believe our students deserve access to a high-quality education that prepares them not only to graduate, but to succeed in whatever comes next in their lives. Florida has remained focused on strong academic standards, high-quality instruction, school choice, workforce education, and really creating meaningful pathways from the classroom to college and careers. But another important part of Florida's approach is not only just focusing on our students, it's recognizing that our parents have a fundamental role in their child's education. Parents are really a child's first and most important teacher. Florida has made parental involvement a cornerstone of our education system. Parents should know absolutely what is happening in their child's classroom. They should have access to information about their child's academic progress. They should also understand the educational options that they have available to them as families. And they should have a meaningful voice in decisions that affect their child's education. Governor DeSantis signed House Bill 241 into law in 2021, and that was really a monumental piece of legislation that codified parents' rights to guide the education of their children. I want to applaud and thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership and for his vision to expand and enhance parental rights in Florida. Our goal in Florida is to not simply give parents information, it is to actually empower them to be active partners in their child's success. This is why events like this, of Florida's Family's First Resource Fair, that's why these become so valuable and are important. When we connect our parents directly with schools, state programs, with our trusted community organizations, we give our families more tools to make informed decisions and to advocate for their children. Ultimately, everything we do in education should point students towards what comes next in their lives. As a former principal, it's great to see that we actually have students in the audience. It reminds us of why we come together. It reminds us of the purpose of our important work. For some students, that will mean attending one of our Florida colleges, like Valencia College. I want to thank the president for hosting us. For some students, it will mean attending a university. For other students, it may mean earning an industry certification. They could be completing an apprenticeship. They could be entering the workforce, or they could be serving our great nation and our great country. There's no single definition of student success, but every student across the state of Florida should graduate with a plan and the preparation necessary to help them get to the next level. We have tremendous opportunities for our Florida students and families. One example that we have is our Florida Bright Future Scholarship Program. That's one of the most recognizable examples that we have across the state. It rewards students for their hard work and for their academic achievement, and it helps make post-secondary education more attainable for Florida families. So for those students listening in the audience, I want to make sure that you are aware of our Bright Futures program and that you're continuing to focus on academics and make yourselves eligible for Bright Futures. We want our families also to learn about these opportunities like Bright Futures. We want them to learn earlier rather than later, because that will open up opportunities for our children. Parents should know the requirements. Our students should understand the goals that they need to meet, and families should know where to go to help them navigate that process. That's one of the reasons that this fair becomes so important. It brings information directly to our Florida families, and it connects them with folks who can help. Florida's education system is truly the strongest when everyone is rowing in the same direction. This is how we continue building on Florida's success, and that's how we ensure that Florida remains the gold standard for education in this great country. I can tell you as we begin the 26-27 school year, there is so much to be excited about in Florida education. Our students have a tremendous opportunity ahead of them, and it takes engaged parents, dedicated educators, great school leaders, and community partners who are willing to take the step forward to support Florida's families. And that's exactly what today represents. I encourage every family that's here to take advantage of the resources available, ask questions, make connections, and learn about the programs and opportunities that can help our children succeed across the great state of Florida. At the Florida Department of Education, I'll close and tell you this: we're very proud of what Florida has accomplished, but we know there's also still much work to do. We will remain focused on educating our students. We will remain focused on empowering our parents, supporting our schools, supporting choice, and supporting the educators across the state of Florida to make sure that we remain the education state. Thank you to Senator Moody for bringing us together today. Together, we will continue to make Florida the best place in the nation to learn, to work, and to raise a family and build a bright future. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you. Our next speakers are Detectives Kim Labonte and Kyle Cole with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, who are on the front lines of protecting children from predators and the dangers they face online. Protecting children has long been one of Senator Moody's defining fights, from combating human trafficking as Florida's Attorney General to now championing the bipartisan Kids Online SAFE Act in the U.S. Senate. Please welcome today Detectives Kim Labonte and Kyle Cole.
Hello, everyone. I'm Detective Kim Labonte, and this is my partner,
Kyle Cole.
So we're usually more comfortable behind computers, so I apologize. They thought it'd be okay to give us a microphone, I guess. But in all seriousness, obviously technology is a part of children's lives today as young as, 5 years old. We're giving children tablets. How many kids have tablets, phones, anything that has Wi-Fi? Anything with that is something that we need to be monitoring. Even gaming systems, a lot of people are doing that. So we investigate a lot of cyber tips, which come through the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC. They are a national nonprofit organization that helps combat exploitation of children, missing children. So we get a lot of our tips through them. Let's see. Also, I know a lot of people, they don't think social media is gaming systems, such as Roblox. I don't know how many people allow their children to play Roblox, but that also has messaging connected, instant messaging, streaming. And just over the last 2 years, just to kind of give you guys an idea, we've had over 645 tips come in through Roblox that involve sextortion, exploitation, and enticement of children under the age of 18. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're investigating. With Discord, if people are familiar with Discord, they think it's a lot of just, oh, you find a channel you go to, you find people with like-minded stuff. We've had over 800 tips connected to that. And with Snapchat, we've had over 1,500. So that's kind of an idea, gives you an idea of what we investigate. And that's just the past 2 years. The biggest thing we want to tell parents is communication with your children. A lot of kids think that they're going to get in trouble if someone reaches out to them and all of a sudden they start befriending them, asking for money, pictures, whatever the case is. They are terrified to tell their parents. So keeping the door open and having communication with your children and let them know that they are not in trouble is one of the biggest things that I like to tell parents. And also going through their phone with them, making sure your privacy settings, seeing what they have available and what you're comfortable with. So you can sit down as a family and, check the settings. If you have questions about the settings, you don't have to be a super big technology person. I promise you can just make sure that what they connect to, different apps they download, and if you're comfortable with it. And if you ever have any questions, we're always available to help with that. A lot of the people that your kid can encounter online is not going to be the person they're actually talking to. And a lot of children have issues with that where they think they're talking to another kid. So it's important you know who your child is talking to online, what they're playing. And again, with the Roblox and the other stuff, they may just, oh, well, I met a new friend that I'm playing a game with. Keep the communication open. Know who they're talking to, know what games they're playing, what platforms that they're using, and what they're downloading. A lot of the kids, they don't think that these people are lying to them. So it's, sometimes it's hard for them to believe that. The games, like I said, can use voice chats, instant messaging. They provide links. A lot of stuff to look for that these kids are encountering are people that are being nice to them, offering gifts, offering, purchases like, oh, if you send me this, then, I'll give you this. And again, the kids are scared to tell you about it or they don't think it's wrong. So it's important to have those open conversations with them about internet safety, of what should be happening and what shouldn't be happening, of what people should be talking to you about. There's no reason for an adult to be talking to a child online, especially if they don't know them. Let's see. Also, posting your child online. I know school just went back. So the big thing I've been seeing are the signs. Just so you know, now I know where your child goes to school. I know their teacher. I know their favorite stuff. I know usually their last name sometimes. And if I talk to a child and try to get them to trust me, I know all this stuff about them. You approach a child and say, oh, I know this is your favorite thing. So please be careful about posting your child online. Remember, everything that goes online, it's there forever. Just because you think it disappears, and children also need to know this too. They'll say, oh, I just sent a picture to my friend. It's there forever. Okay, so as a parent, also be aware of what you're posting on your children. Let's see. So yeah, the biggest thing, make sure to understand that disappearing messages or photos are not always disappearing. Another thing that's coming up a lot is the sextortion. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of that, but children are being asked to send certain explicit photos, and then the other person usually lies to them and says they're a child, but then changes and said, well, if you don't send me more, then I'm going to tell your parents. I'm going to post your picture online. If something happens like that, if your child comes to you, do not delete anything and make sure you contact law enforcement. This is a crime and it is occurring multiple times. Like I said, with all of these, we investigate this all the time. So make sure you're reporting it and you're not deleting anything. And even if you have a question about it, if it happens, you can call and we can talk you through it on that. So real quick, when you go home, if you do have children of the age of that, try to do kind of like a family safety check. Check your privacy settings. Also make sure your Wi-Fi passwords are not password 123. So make sure that you're using good passwords on your Wi-Fi. and not giving it to other people. Review your child's friends and follower lists. Make sure you know who they're following, who's following them, and who they're talking to. Review the gaming communication. So if your child is playing even PS5 games, I'm not a gamer, so I don't know the games, but know if they, are talking to people over their headsets, who are they talking to? Can people from another country reach out and all of a sudden start messaging them? Do you have that feature set up? Turn on two-factor authentications so when they're logging in. Update your passwords. Check your location settings so that you can see if you have the location settings for where your child is. Know what apps are installed. There are a ton of parental apps that you can download that you have to have. They have to have permission to download stuff, and you have to approve it. Make sure you know and review the apps, and if they don't need, and discuss possibly device overnight charging. I know a rule is no charging in your room. It has to be out in the kitchen or out in the open overnight. And make sure you know how to report an account if something does happen. Like if it happens on Snapchat, they have a link that you can go to where you can report any kind of issues, and then also make sure you can report it to law enforcement. Anything? Good. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That's vital information. Even I learned something today. So thank you for that. Our next speaker is Shannon Peterson with BNY, who is here to help families think about saving, planning, and building a stronger financial future. Senator Moody has made financial security for working families a priority in Washington, helping pass the Working Families Tax Cuts and championing child-owned investment accounts that give families another way to start investing in their children's futures. Please welcome Shannon Peterson.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here, especially in the middle of back to school season. And Senator Moody and team, thank you so much for bringing us together and for the opportunity to be part of today's conversation. So for those of you that I haven't met yet, as she mentioned, I am Shannon Peterson. I work at Bank of New York, and I'm the head of our client service function for our corporate trust business. We support thousands of clients at BNY around the world, and one of the most important being the US government, where we help those clients navigate some of the most complex parts of our financial ecosystem. At BNY, we believe every child deserves the opportunity to dream big and build a strong future. And that's one of the reasons that we're so excited to support the Trump accounts. For me, this is personal too. I am a working mom. I have a 10-year-old daughter and we live in Seminole County. And I registered her for a Trump account because, like every parent, I want to give her an opportunity to build a strong financial future. So I'm especially proud to be here today, not just representing BNY, but also as a parent who really believes in this initiative and what it means for our kids. I want to emphasize something that because, actually last night I was sitting at the cheer gym up in Sanford and talking to a bunch of other moms, and I was preparing for today. And I asked around the room, how many of you have a Trump account open for your child? And I heard many of them say, well, I don't have that open yet. Isn't it just for newborns? And they're actually available to all children under the age of 18. And I think that's really important for us to get the message out. And that is so meaningful to us because it gives families an opportunity, no matter what the age under 18, to think about saving and investing for their children while they're still young. BNY was founded 242 years ago, and it's very meaningful for us to be part of this in the U.S. history. We were founded by Alexander Hamilton, who went on to become America's first Secretary of the Treasury. And from the beginning of our country, BNY's worked alongside the U.S. Treasury to help support America's financial system. Today, we're proud to continue that tradition by investing in the next generation of Americans through our matching Trump account contribution. And what I like most about the Trump accounts is that they're built around a really simple idea: giving every child an opportunity to build towards their financial future. Maybe your child wants to be a teacher, an engineer like my daughter, a nurse, a business leader, or maybe a professional athlete. Whatever that dream is, dreams start with opportunity. And these accounts can help create that opportunity by giving young people financial foundation from the beginning, while also encouraging families to think about saving, investing, and planning for the long term. Being in here in Florida makes that message particularly meaningful for BNY because Central Florida is such an important part of our future. Like I mentioned, I live in Seminole County. I moved here from the Northeast 2.5 years ago. And one of the things that struck me since moving here is how much opportunity there is in this community. At BNY in our Lake Mary campus, it's one of our 6 strategic global locations and one of our largest campuses across the globe. And when we say strategic, we really mean it. Lake Mary isn't just a back office location for a bank. It's a core hub where our colleagues are delivering technology solutions, operations, and client-facing services that support BNY and our clients around the world. I can say that personally because I moved here, as I mentioned, 2 years ago to take a global leadership role right here in Central Florida. I support a global client base of around 10,000 clients and have team members working for me all around the world. And that's a pretty powerful example of the opportunity that exists right here. We're also investing in the next generation of talent in this community. More than 200,000 students graduate from colleges that are just 4 hours within a 4-hour radius of Lake Mary, where our campus is. And we're building relationships with institutions like UCF to help students translate what they learn in the classroom into real-world experiences in technology and financial services. And that brings me back to why we're here today. When we invest in people early, we expand what's possible for them later. As we celebrate America's 250th anniversary this year, BNY is proud to be part of the effort that helps more young people access the opportunities this country can offer for generations to come. The American dream has always been about building something better, not just for ourselves, but for our children and future generations to follow. At BNY, we've been here from the start. We're proud of the long partnership with the U.S. Treasury, and we're proud of the future we're building here in Central Florida. And most importantly, we're excited to help the next generation pursue their own dreams and build their own financial future. So thank you again to Senator Ashley Moody and her team. Thank you to all the parents and participants in the audience today. And as a mom, I'll leave you with this. If you have a child under 18, you have a grandchild, you have family, you have friends, take a few minutes to learn about the Trump accounts. We have some flyers over here at our booth with a QR code on how easy it is to get set up. See what you can do to start building a stronger financial future for the children. Thank you.
Thank you. We have some wonderful options happening here, and I want to invite Jonathan Cahigas up to the stage here to talk about Step Up for Students and all the wonderful things that are happening with that program.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you to Senator Moody, and thank you to her team for putting on this event. I'm very happy to be here and speak on behalf of and share some brief remarks about what we do as an organization. Again, my name is Jonathan Cahigas, and I am the regional manager for the school and provider services team at Step Up for Students. And in my role, I work directly with over 200 local schools, providing support to their administrators and to their school leaders that participate in our scholarship programs. But most importantly, I'm a father. I'm a father of 4, and all 4 of those children benefit from Step Up for Students scholarship programs. But before we talk about those scholarship programs, I think it's important to start with who we are as an organization and why we do this work. Step Up for Students is a state-approved nonprofit scholarship funding organization, and we're in the business of helping families find the educational environment that works best for their child. Our mission is simple: to empower families to pursue and engage in the most appropriate learning options for their children. My background is in education. I was in the classroom for over 10 years, and anybody who has spent more than 3 seconds with different children understands that every child and every student is different, and they all have different needs. Some thrive in their local public school, and some need a private school environment. Some learn best through a personalized education at home. Others may need specialized therapies, services, or supports. And we believe that families know their children best, and it is our role to help remove barriers so parents can access the educational opportunities that fit their students' needs. Now, at the end of the day, school choice isn't about policy or systems or programs. It's about students. And it's about that child who may need a fresh start. It's about the student with unique abilities who requires specialized support, or the family who's looking for a learning environment where their child can truly succeed. And that's what drives the work that we do every day. And to support that work and support that mission, Step Up for Students administers several scholarship programs. Now, I could spend an entire afternoon going in depth into these programs, but I'm not allowed to. So if you want to learn more, we can always chat a little bit. But to give you an overview, our private school scholarships help eligible K through 12 students attend participating private schools and can also provide access to other educational expenses. And these scholarships have expanded educational opportunities for families across Florida and remain one of the most utilized pathways we offer. And for families who are pursuing a more customized educational experience, there's the Personalized Education Program, or PEP. I have 2 of my children on the PEP program. And this option gives families access to an educational savings account that can be used for curriculum, instructional materials, tutoring, virtual learning, hybrid programs, and other approved educational expenses, while allowing the parents to direct their child's education. We also administer the Family Empowerment Scholarship for students with unique abilities. I have 2 on that scholarship, which allows families to personalize education and support services for students with qualifying special needs. And these funds can be used for therapies, specialists, curriculum, private school tuition, and a wide range of educational supports tailored to the individual student. And finally, we administer the transportation stipend, which helps eligible families offset transportation costs when exercising school choice within the public school system. And one important thing to remember is that all of these programs are built around the same core idea, which is giving families flexibility, access, and the ability to make decisions that are right for their children. Families can only participate in one scholarship program per student at a time. So understanding these options and selecting the best fit is an important part of the process. And if there's one takeaway that I'd like to leave you with today, it's this: Step Up for Students exists to put families at the center of educational decision-making. We don't believe there's a one-size-fits-all approach to education. We believe students succeed when families have access to options, information, and resources that allow them to choose the path that's right for them. That's our mission, and that's the work we're honored to do every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Moody has worked very closely with the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to promote healthier food choices and help ensure Florida leads the way towards a healthier America. But healthy eating does not have to be complicated or expensive, and our next speaker is here to show us how. Get ready for some fun and delicious Healthy Families with a presentation by Chef Justin from Fresh from Florida, who will show us how to prepare meals our families will love while keeping them nutritious, affordable, and easy to make. And yes, I'm told there will be samples. Please join me in welcoming Chef Justin.
Thank you so much, everybody. What a great turnout today. And I want to thank the Senator for having us, thinking about us, for us to be able to be a part of this wonderful event. You know, Florida agriculture is vitally important, right? Not just to our families, but to our schools and frankly, everyone in the state of Florida. We are producing a ton of incredibly and naturally healthy, safe, delicious food that not only feeds our state, but goes all the way up across our great country and feeds a lot of other people. And even some of our products go out of the country to feed other people as well. So it's incredible that all the things that we have here, right? We can talk about amazing fresh seafood from the Gulf of America and the Atlantic. I'm talking delicious, delicious stuff, healthy. I cook seafood at my house for my kids several times a week because it is absolutely delicious. And then, of course, over 300 different edible commodities that we grow here in the state that make it around. Lots of amazing, amazing things. So we really live in a food paradise. And certainly for a chef like me, it is the absolute best place to be. And now food really is something that impacts us absolutely directly, not only short term, but in the long term as well. We know that eating food that is naturally healthy and delicious gives us great energy to go perform what we need to do throughout the day, whether it's going to work or our children going to school. We know that you are what you eat, right? So the more we can eat with healthy foods, the better we're going to be and the better we can do throughout our day. And as soon as we eat food, it makes us feel a certain way, right? I can eat a good, healthy meal. I'll get energy. I'll automatically be feeling better in my mind about the things that I have to do. So there are so many different ways that food can help us throughout our day in both the short term and the long term. At the Department of Agriculture, we are working hard to help connect farms and schools so that we can get more Florida produce into our schools so that kids can enjoy those benefits, and also the farmers will enjoy much benefits as well. We know that when we buy and search for local produce that is grown, harvested, or produced here in the state of Florida, it's going to be naturally more healthy. It hasn't transited across the country. We're keeping those hard-working dollars in the state, which is incredible. And so there are many, many benefits to shopping fresh from Florida. Now, there are different ways to do this. You can go on our Fresh from Florida website, and there you can discover all of these seasonal commodities. We have lots of charts up there that show exactly what is in season when. And this is a great thing because I think a lot of us as Americans, we're used to saying, okay, well, I think maybe we're going to cook some hamburgers on the grill tonight. I need some ground beef and some fresh tomato and some lettuce. Well, guess what? Tomatoes don't grow here in our state all year long, right? So that's why it's important to arm ourselves with the proper knowledge. I always tell people, and they ask me all the time, Chef, how do you shop and what are the things you look for? Well, the first thing I do is I want to know what's in season, right? So I go to our website and I can look, okay, here we are in August. I can see all the things that are available this month. And that way I can really plan my menu. So I'd like to issue a challenge for everybody, for all our families and everybody who just loves to cook. Instead of finding a recipe and then going to the grocery store and purchasing those things for a recipe, I encourage you to go to the grocery store, go to your local farmer's market, find out what's in fresh, what's in season, and purchase those items and bring them back to your home, and then do a little bit of research for recipes that utilize these products. I think that's a much better way for us to cook and eat in our daily lives. So I'm very lucky. I have one of the best jobs in all of state government. I firmly believe I get to travel all over not only our great state, but this incredible country, teaching everybody about Florida products. I also get to go all over the world doing same things as well, from the largest seafood trade shows, domestic seafood expos, to the world's largest seafood expos. And the same thing with our huge produce expos. We'll be right back down here in Orlando in October at the wonderful Orange County Convention Center, where the country's largest produce expo is this year. So we have a huge pavilion where we have 15 to 20 Florida companies that are working incredibly hard. And we help facilitate their sales. And that's our bottom line at the Department of Agriculture. And our mandate at Fresh from Florida is to help facilitate the sales of agricultural products and help educate everybody. So lots of really, really neat stuff that we do. I want to encourage everybody to check out our websites and look at our family-friendly recipes. Now, I'm not trying to create recipes to impress other chefs, right? I'm creating recipes that everybody can cook at home. Simple stuff with simple ingredients that you can find anywhere. In fact, when I do my photo shoots and produce high quality photos that match the recipes, most of the things that I buy, I've got at my local grocery store, whether it's Publix or Winn-Dixie or Aldi, any of those places. So I'm not out trying to find all these different crazy foreign ingredients. It's simple, family-friendly, delicious, and nutritious foods that anybody can cook at home. And that's what we like. And we also have lots of great programs as well for different age groups. Right now, we've been working a lot, and we're very proud of our junior chef program, and we brought some cookbooks there for everybody to take a look at. And these are programs for younger kids to work at home to get hands-on education about food. Now, these things that we're talking about, recipes and cooking at home, is vitally important, right? When I went to school, and certainly in high school, there just wasn't a bunch of education about food. So I was very lucky that I had parents who were really into food and taught me those things. I would come home from school and make snacks, and they would have food in the fridge that I could work with, and encouraged me with that. And I think that's what everybody needs to do as well. It's super important that we teach our children how to navigate this incredibly complex food world that we live in, right? Get those kids in the kitchen, get them helping, give them a little task to do, whether it's mixing, whether it's a little chopping, and then when it's time to clean up, everybody comes together and cleans up, right? These are life experiences that we need to relish and continue to build upon. We know that some of the most important decisions in our entire lives are going to be decided while food is there on the table as well, whether it's with our family or friends. So food is a big, big part of our entire lives, right? Not just our growing lives, but understanding how to cook and navigate. And I'm not saying our kids have to grow up to be gourmet chefs. In fact, I tell my son all the time, who loves to cook and cooks with me all the time, I say, I don't really want him to grow up to be a chef, because it is incredibly tough. Chefs have a hard time because it's tough out there with food and food costs and all those things. So, but having said that, of course, I encourage him in whatever he wants to do, but he will grow up to be a gourmet cook, no doubt. He will be able to walk in any grocery store and buy what's in season, and then go to his home or his friend's home and be able to cook a delicious, satisfying, healthy meal that will fuel everybody. So lots of really great things in Florida agriculture. I want to continue to help everybody understand all the wonderful things that we grow here in the state, from amazing tropical fruit down in South Florida. And we have a few of these on display here, whether it's mango or dragon fruit, guava, papaya. We grow all kinds of wonderful things here in the state, peanuts, honey. We have great people that are making fruit wine as well. So many different value-added products in the state. We have a ton of incredible, thoughtful people who are creating businesses with agricultural products in the state. And I really would like to see a lot more of that stuff get into schools, whether it's spice blends that are being made here and all kinds of different things to help offset some of the things that schools are already doing. So really tons of great stuff. And my job is to just get people excited about the amazing stuff that's grown here, right? The seafood, oh my gosh, seafood, so good. I would love to see a little bit more seafood in school and seafood education. If, I can get up in front of kids in classrooms, right, with a Florida mango and say, this is healthy, and I make guacamole with this, and then I serve it with sliced veggies, and you guys would really love this. And they'll look at me like, yeah, right, chef, you're crazy. I'm not eating that green stuff. But when I can get them right in the classroom, and I'm cutting the avocado in half, they're scooping out the avocado, they're hand tearing cilantro, they're squeezing limes, they're mixing, they're adding a little salt. Then all of a sudden they've taken a lot of ownership of this and they're excited. Look what I've created. Look what I made. It's delicious. It's healthy. They want to take it home and share it with their families. And then next time they're with their families at the grocery store, they're like, hey, I had that avocado. Can we get some? And can we make this at the house? So many great things. And then on top of that, there are so many wonderful lessons in agriculture, whether it's learning about culture, math, English, science. It is all there with food. So we want to continue to encourage everybody to work with food and incorporate that into what they were doing, because it really helps all of us. It helps us grow. It helps our farmers, our ranchers, our fishermen, and all of us in the state. So again, I want to thank everybody, Senator Moody and her team, for having us here, and everybody who showed up today. And of course, my boss, Commissioner Wilton Simpson, for having the foresight and to be able to put all this stuff out there. I'm the only full-time agriculture chef in the entire country, so it is a big responsibility that we take absolutely seriously. So thank everybody, and I want to encourage everybody again to go on our websites, familiarize yourself, find out where the U-Pick farms are, check out our great recipes and our wonderful seasonal information so you can help incorporate that not only into your home diets, but in all the things you do. So make sure you guys come by and check out. We got some Florida strawberry Greek yogurt with some superfood granola and a little seasonal Florida fruit. Come over, say hi, have a taste, check out the large fruit and vegetable display we have over, and let's talk about some food. Thanks, everybody.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chef. It is now my pleasure to welcome Dr. Kathleen Polinsky, President of Valencia College and a passionate advocate for the power of education to transform students, strengthen families, and build stronger communities. Dr. Polinsky, thank you for your leadership and for graciously hosting us here at Valencia College today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kathleen Polinsky.
Thank you so much. It is just such an honor to have you at our West Campus. It's one of 7 campuses that Valencia College has. How many of you have attended Valencia or maybe have a child who's attended Valencia? Yeah, look at that. And how many of you have graduated from Valencia College? I really wanted to celebrate Representative Booth, champion of education, but look at that. That's fantastic. We are the 2nd largest state college in Florida, behind Miami-Dade College. We're the 6th largest community college in the United States. Last year, we served more than 78,000 students here at Valencia College. We are very proud of the fact that we admit the top 100% of all applicants to Valencia College. You will often hear universities talk about how exclusive they are. We are very proud of the fact that we welcome anyone who wants to continue their education. And we believe that anyone can learn anything under the right conditions. We believe that every one of our students could learn anything that we have to teach. How many of you may think, I'm not a math person? So we reject that notion. We actually say there's not an algebra gene, and without it, you can't factor equations. Anyone can learn anything under the right conditions, and that's what we believe for our students. We have a number of programs that prepare students directly for work. We have strong partnerships with local employers in industries, for example, such as engineering, technology, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and culinary arts. We also have a guaranteed transfer pathway for students who complete a degree at Valencia. They are guaranteed admission to the University of Central Florida. Since its inception in 2006, the Direct Connect program have served more than 50,000 of Valencia's graduates who have gone on to graduate from UCF, saving students and their families more than $250 million with a B in tuition dollars. We also have thousands of incredibly talented high school students participate in dual enrollment, where they're taking college classes at the same time that they're enrolled in high school. And remarkably, we have hundreds of students who complete an associate degree before they graduate from high school. And dual enrollment is at no cost to those students or to those families. We are deeply committed to affordability, and thanks to the leadership of Governor DeSantis and our Board of Trustees, we have not increased tuition for more than a decade. When you consider financial aid and scholarships and community partnerships, more than 43% of our students pay absolutely nothing out of pocket to attend Valencia College. One of those partnerships is something called Osceola Prosper. It is funded by the Osceola County Commission, and it guarantees that every single high school graduate in Osceola County can attend Valencia College at no cost. If you go back to the year 2010, Osceola County ranked 61st out of the 67 counties in the state in terms of the percentage of high school graduates who continued their education. Since the introduction of Osceola Prosper, Osceola County moved from 61st place to 3rd. We're just incredibly proud of supporting our community, our local employers, and preparing our students and graduates to participate fully in the economy of tomorrow and ensure that our communities are a stronger place. And it is now the moment that I know you all have been waiting for, and that is to welcome Senator Ashley Moody to Valencia. And I'd just like to share a tiny bit about her impressive background. She is a 5th-generation Floridian raised in Plant City, Florida. She attended the University of Florida. She's a triple Gator, having a bachelor's and master's degree in accounting, as well as a law degree, and then also has a master's of laws degree in international law from Stetson. She began her career at the law firm Holland and Knight, and in 2006, at the age of 31, she became the youngest judge in Florida. From 2019 to 2025, Senator Moody served as Florida's 38th Attorney General, and then she was sworn into the United States Senate on January 21st, 2025, after being appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. And early in her tenure as senator, I had the opportunity to reach out. There was a critical matter related to federal financial aid that could have disproportionately affected students at community colleges like Valencia. And it was just such a pleasure to work with her office to ensure that she was championing our students here in Florida. And so it is just absolutely an honor to welcome Senator Moody to Valencia College.
Well, hello, good to see you. Good to be with you. Thank you for being here today. That was a great introduction. And I have to say, I am a math person. I am. I don't know what that says, but I am a math person. And I love being in Washington to remind them that they all need to be math people and we need to watch our national debt. these really insinuating, accusatory questions about spending. And I'll be like, is it true? I'm new here. I don't know. Anyway, it's my superpower, but you can only blame being new for so long, right? It only works for so long. It is so great to be with you. Thank you so much. Thank you, President, for having us, listening to you and the stories of success of your school and so many of our schools shows why Florida continues to break education records. We continue to improve. #1 in higher education, 10 years in a row. It is no surprise people are shoving each other out of the way to move to Florida, and our schools are one of the reasons. And I'm so proud of you and all of our educational leaders across Florida. What a great day. I, like many parents across the state of Florida, are sending a kid back to school. So the laundry, the cleaning out of the closets, the throwing or putting into one pile all of the clothes that don't fit anymore. I have to remind myself that growth is good. That is a challenge in a place like Florida where so many people are moving here, and that in and of itself is a challenge. We have to remind ourselves growth is good. And it is. Florida is really achieving milestone successes, and I am so proud to have been a part of that, and now taking Florida's fight to Washington, and already seeing success on behalf of this great state. Thank you to Rep. Erica Booth, certainly President Plinsky, Senior Chancellor Paul Burns, Chef Justin, fresh from Florida. I think I'm going to need some private lessons at home. I can only make so many 90-second rices in the microwave. Or don't tell Kennedy, but those ready-to-bake things that you can bake in 10 minutes. I don't know if that falls on the Maha list. I'm not going to ask him. Shannon Peterson, Orange Lake, Seminole County Sheriff's Offices, Pastor Tim Grohans, Rep. David Smith, Lieutenant Colonel Shu, thank you so much for participating in such a great event, Florida Families First. Everything that I do in DC is keeping an eye and perspective of how are these decisions, how are these votes, how are these resources being dedicated, affecting Americans, Floridians first. And I think across our nation, and I know in Florida, we are really glad to get back to that perspective. And I can already see that it is paying off and that Florida is benefiting from our Working Family Tax Cut Act last year. We had the highest tax return of any state in the nation. That is such an accomplishment for this state. Families are seeing real money in their pockets, and that is so important these days. And it's great to see so many parents with us. I think sometimes we are better when we share stories, both the good and the bad of our everyday lives and how we parent, because we don't always get it right. We're just trying our best and to see what works for our kids. And I think the effort is what counts, because at the end of the day, our kids' best advocate are their parents and their guardians. A government wants to be there. We want to help. We want to have the most successful students in the nation. And certainly in Washington, I want to make sure every American student has wonderful, tremendous opportunities. But we know that parents and guardians know their kids best. And they are the ones that are going to be the best advocates. They are the ones that are going to make their best decisions. So we want to make sure that we are putting the resources and the opportunities and the choices in front of you so that you can make those decisions. That is what we have seen make a difference in Florida. That is why we went from in the 60th percentile in graduation rates to over now 92% graduation rate in just a few decades. And that's because we have made the decision to make sure parents have choices. And those choices are plentiful based on what the specific child needs are, but certainly child's education and opportunities is not based simply on the zip code they happen to be born into. And so I am incredibly excited about what this state has achieved and taking what we have done to the national stage. And that was why we wanted to do this resource fair today. And I hope it has been helpful. We've hit everything from health of kids, finances for their future, their education, their safety. Have we left anything out? I was thinking as a parent, what are the things that I try to focus on the most? Hopefully those were all helpful. And if you have families and friends, the people that you've met today certainly will remain available moving forward. So if you have family and friends with questions, I wasn't quite sure how much money can be contributed to my kid's investment account. You can call everybody that you met today in the future, grab their information, pass it to your friends. The biggest disappointment would be kids that are eligible for certain benefits and resources and opportunities, and they are we just don't know about those opportunities. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to close that gap. So I didn't just bring you here just to give you another thing on your list to worry about. I know as a mom, we parents carry enough responsibility without one more thing to worry about. I just wanted you to come together so that you would, it would make it a little bit easier as we launched into the new school year, maybe save you some time and money, answer questions, and connect you with people who could help your families. I know that some days it's pretty hectic trying to figure everything out, just what's required of that day, whether it's picture day or pajama day. If you mix them up, that's a big deal. It's really embarrassing that day. Years later, it's kind of funny. I have those pictures. But behind all of what we grapple with is that ever-present question, am I getting this right? Even when I'm trying to put things on the dinner table at night, I am always questioning, am I getting this right? How will this affect his health? How will this affect his growth? Because all of those small changes or small decisions and choices over time can end up making a big difference. And so I thought that was what today would be all about. How can we make small choices that may have big results for our families? As a United States Senator, I think about that every day. But when I go to work and I'm taking a vote or I'm participating in a hearing, that passion that you hear, that enthusiasm for what I'm talking about, that doesn't come from just being a senator. That comes from being a mom. So I hope you know that if you have any concerns with anything we're working on in DC, please reach out to me. I have been blessed by an incredible staff. You've met many of them today. And they probably haven't told you, and nobody has probably mentioned this, but it is because of them we were awarded Best Constituent Service in the nation after 1 year in office. And I'm bragging on them because that had not been done before. But we are very clear within our office that we are here, we are avatars of you. You are our bosses. I am your voice in DC. And so if you need anything, please call us. We handled thousands of issues last year. And sometimes it's as simple as getting someone a phone number where they can call someone and ask a question. But as you know, government, federal government especially, can be overwhelming and complex and overly bureaucratic. And so if we can help you make sense of it and understand that it truly is, of course, I am pushing them up there to understand this, it truly is a body that is supposed to work for you. Because when we agreed to this whole thing, the United States of America, the whole point was the power would remain with the people in the states. We would go up, we serve you, right? So please remember that. That is how I view this job. And it is we are already getting recognized for that. And that award came from a bipartisan organization. And I was so proud of my team. Many of them believe that their service in this office is a calling, and they are doing it to serve other people. And I admire that about them. They inspire me every single day. So if you take one thing from today, when we're all done, we take our pictures, you leave, you go home, just remember what I said. You are your kids' number one advocate. It's not us. It's not the government. You are their number one advocate. And everyday decisions will add up to something extraordinary. What you do, your choices, your guidance, the information that we can give you and that you can acquire to raise your children, that will build good habits, character, opportunity, and ultimately it will shape their life. And that will begin with one choice at a time. So whether that is making healthy choices, I know we brought together some chefs and nutrition experts. what food you are buying. I've been working incredibly hard to make sure we are bringing forward transparency and accountability in our food. I know that is incredibly important to moms and dads across this country. Dads often get overlooked in the whole MAHA conversation, but they shouldn't. It is incredibly important that we make decisions that will ensure our child's health, their educational future. You know that Florida is now a universal school choice state. We have pushed numerous opportunities into the hands of parents to make decisions on how their children get schooled, whether that's at home, whether that's at a traditional public school, whether that's at a charter school, something based on their own educational needs. Incredibly important. School choice will give parents the freedom to ask the question, what learning environment works best for us and for my child? And that has been incredibly important in Florida's driving success in education. You have more options than ever before. We had some scholarship opportunities that were available to learn about today. I had the privilege of co-sponsoring and pushing school choice opportunities and scholarship opportunities for the nation, much like Florida's own scholarship opportunities. And so when that passed last summer, you can imagine how excited I was. I know that we've done so much for Florida children. I would like that available to every American child in this nation. I think it would go a long way to improving our test scores. What frustrates me more than anything is a lot of people in Washington, a lot of my colleagues think, oh, there's a problem. We should just throw more money at it because that seems to fix everything. Resources are important. And certainly we've shown in Florida, you dedicate resources, you can make a difference, but it has to be done with a strategy. It has to be done with the effort to roll up your sleeves, be strategic, be smart, have new policies, think outside the box. If you keep coming in at low scores, and you've been throwing money at it year after year after year and nothing's happening, maybe we try something different in Washington. It is amazing to me how many people are just dead set on sticking to the status quo when it is abundantly obvious we need change. And so I love being that new voice saying, I'm just new here, but it's been incredibly effective. Back to school sales, everybody taking advantage of tax holidays like I have. Yes, very important. We know families need relief wherever they can get it. I was very proud of our leadership in Tallahassee for recognizing that. One of the reasons I fought so hard for the Working Families Tax Cut Act, because now you get an enhanced child tax credit. That was very important for those tax refunds. And I know a lot of our parents took advantage of that. And the tax investment accounts for your kids. These child investment accounts, I'm so surprised when I travel the state of Florida how many people have not taken advantage of this. A lot of people don't even know about it, which is why every time I'm doing an event like this, I try to talk about it. Child investment accounts that just passed last year, and most babies born between 2025 and 2028 are eligible for an additional $1,000 in these accounts. You just go online, sign up. It is incredibly easy to do. This has never been done in the history of our country, where we are starting kids off on the right foot with an investment account that they can use when they turn 18 for education, for homes, or if they leave it there by the time they retire, it could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the market. Some say it could be worth close to $1 million. That's an amazing opportunity for every American to live, to have an investment in their dream, their American dream. And I was so proud that we were able to get that done last year. And I want more people to know about it. So if you have family and friends with small children, I hope you will tell them about this incredible opportunity, and everyone should sign up. Family members, other family members can contribute to this. I didn't know this when I first started looking into this. So if you have a sister and they have a child and you want to contribute for birthdays and holidays, you can do that. It's within the rules. And that can keep that account growing until they turn 18. Again, these are small choices that can have big results for their futures. Danger does not always exist in our community the way we expect it to. And I can tell you this because I have watched as a federal prosecutor, as the wife of a law enforcement officer, as someone that worked hand in hand with law enforcement, as a judge who sat on a bench for over a decade and heard horrific stories and effects on our kids. As technology has evolved, so has the dangers to our kids. And I think because we are the first generation of parents that is parenting to these online social media kids, we have to dig in, understand it, educate ourselves. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you because I feel like my story should educate all of us on how we need to be better. Let my faults guide you in being better. I needed to safeguard my own family's phones and ability to get online. So I had to ask my teenage son to help me set his parental controls. He asked me as we went through the process whether I wanted him to go on these types of sites or these educational sites, if I wanted to limit him to this amount of time. And I'm sharing this with you because I should get credit for doing it, because many parents are like, it's too hard. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know how to limit my kids' time or breadth of online access. So thank you. But when I realized that I needed to be better, I went online and educated myself on how important this was. Now, I am clearly more involved. I have been involved with litigation. I have been involved with criminal cases. I have been involved extensively with protecting children online. But it doesn't change the fact that we are the first generation of having to do this. So we're in it together. But that old premise back when we were kids, when our parents would say, stranger danger, don't get in the van, that doesn't apply anymore because your kids are in their bedrooms and people are getting to them online. And there are multiple threats here, right? I mean, just the generalized subject matter available online, that's one thing. Predators getting to your children, whether that's drug traffickers, I call them poison peddlers online, whether that's child predators, they can get to your children through gaming apps, throughout social media. I have seen it time and time again. So it's not just the subject matter. It's not just the access to your children. It's also the algorithms that are being designed to keep your children online. And truly, they are so good at keeping them on, keeping them hooked, keeping them focused on that screen and scrolling and clicking, that they will not come down for dinner. So you have to be mindful. It is almost an addiction in and of itself. So those three areas are very important. And I try to share with parents, it's nothing that you've done. It is the reality we live in. It is the technology that we live in. And so while policy leaders are trying to do everything they can to get things passed to protect your kids, you are on the front lines. I mean, I'm up there trying to pass the Kids Online Safety Act or trying to pass things to keep predators from getting to your children, all of the policies that we can think of. But you've got to embrace being the advocate, being the parent, being the first line of the defense, getting out that shield, learning about safeguards. Don't ask your children to help you. But it's important that you do it. And hopefully you've been able to talk to some of our sheriff's representatives today with tips on how to do that. And hopefully they've shared with you stories where that has gone terribly wrong. I have hugged numerous mothers and fathers' necks. I have counseled families where kids were approached online and then extorted into stealing from their parents or loved ones or even harming themselves because someone got to them and used something that they tricked them into handing over to exploit them. I mean, it's incredibly sad. And so today's event was to talk about some really good proactive things that we can promote the health, safety, and well-being of our children, education, finances, health. But we also wanted to talk about the realities of being a kid today and the dangers that exist and how we as parents and guardians can protect them, and we can. We just have to be willing to step outside our own comfort zone and get involved and get in their lives. As my son would say, get up in their grill It is okay. I fully expect all of you to get up in their grill. Maybe that can be the theme of our event today. Hashtag get up in their grill. I have loved being in Washington, serving as your senator, getting up in their grill about what we're doing wrong in DC to serve American families and Florida families. It's been my absolute honor to fight for Florida families and put your families first. I love this job, and I say that not because it is incredibly frustrating. I get upset, I get angry at sometimes the direction that either a policy is headed or things that we can't get through. But that is what we agree to do when we go up there, to use everything in our background, everything in our personal experiences, everything our own passions and motivations to protect and be a voice for folks back home that we love, the state that we love. I'm a 5th generation Floridian. I love this state. I love the people in it. I love that everybody wants to move here, but I don't want it changed. So I'm in this really weird position where I brag about it all the time, but I don't want anybody to come. But we do, because we need economic success. It's a really weird thing to be a leader in Florida today. But I do love being your voice, and I do love being your fighter. And I am so honored that you would come today to talk to me, to let me talk about how we can strengthen our families, because Florida will be stronger, our nation will be stronger when our families are stronger. And that's what today is all about. So thank you so much for being with me today. It was great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Moody, for those inspiring remarks.